viewers, and welcome to another exciting edition of the program Culture and You. And I'm your host, Roosevelt Joshua Yanti. Today, we are here to highlight the journey of a very vibrant Liberian young leader, a man making impact within our society. He's the co or founder of the organization Full Hunger, an organization that has installed over 28 hand pumps within West Point and its surrounding. And today we are here to talk to him. Like this is very short break. When we get back, then we're going to get to him to welcome him to our studio and get into the discussion. Thank you. Welcome back. As I told you, we have with us today Mr. Wendell S. King. How you doing, sir? You're welcome to Tablas Television.
I'm doing very well, my brother Roosevelt. I'm grateful to you guys for having me. Thank you for the opportunity. Thankful for Tabla and all of the things you guys are doing here.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're highly welcome. So, for the benefit of the viewers or in depth, please tell us about yourself. Who is Wendell?
Well, there are a lot of things that I'm involved into, but like what I'm actually known for is the work I do with Full Hunger. So I'm the co-founder of Full Hunger.
Okay.
Full Hunger is a registered U.S. organization. We have the 501c3 status where we provide life-saving meals and clean drinking water. And I also work with a local football academy called the Library Football Academy, where I'm serving as the president. But most of the things I do are surrounding Full Hunger.
Okay, so everything you do is surrounding Full Hunger.
Right.
So, for the benefit of the viewers, how did Full Hunger came about?
So Full Hunger actually started in 2020. But prior to that, I was part of an international organization where I went to the US to represent orphan and at-risk children. So I did that traveling 38 US states plus DC, like raising awareness for kids to have access to school, like food, shelter, all of that. When I came back to Liberia, like before I could go to the US, I thought that I was just going to raise awareness and all of the kids were all going to be good. I was a little bit smaller. That's a funny thinking. But interestingly, when I came back to the country, I saw that kids were still being used in the streets of Monroeville, like as per a window, and that really blew my mind. I'm like, this is just the beginning. So like after that, I started initiatives like just visiting orphanages or I would say motivating kids, taking food in, taking school materials and all of that. But Full Hunger effectively started 2020. Like I said, I'm one of the two co-founders. I have my brother. He lives in the US. He's called Zachary Branch.
Okay.
Right.
So you talks about before or leaving for the United States. Before you leaving for the United States of America and spending the time you're supposed to spend there, what were you into before leaving?
Good question. Almost all of my life, I've been in like public spaces, mostly volunteering, being more of a leader than just a normal or regular follower.
Okay.
So prior to that, I was very small. I would say like probably 11, 12 years. And that time, interestingly, I used to be a children pastor at a local church in Bannersville, Maryland,
Wow.
center called El Shaddai World Outreach Ministry. So that what I used to do before the US.
Wow. So, or like, how did the entire idea came about? Like, becoming a humanitarian, feeding children,
Right.
or helping people. How did everything came about?
Yeah, like what really motivated me to be in this space, like this setup to do what I'm doing. I personally come from a single mother. Like it was just my mom, my brother, and I. There were days that I saw that we couldn't even afford a day meal. There were days that we went to some of the elite schools. Like interestingly, some of the schools that I went to, they were not even regular schools. They were literally study class.
Wow.
Yeah, so there were a lot. Like we went through a lot, all that struggle, that hardship, and I'm looking at only my mom. She was selling coal, tying coal, struggling to send my brother and I to school. That really motivated me, and I told myself that I'm gonna work hard to be very good. I'm gonna work hard to make sure that nobody has to go through what we're going through, and I'm gonna work hard to better my country, Liberia, and Africa in general. So there where the motivation came from.
Okay. So, what are some of those challenges that you faced along the way?
Like with food hunger or in life generally?
In life, with food hunger, what are just some of those challenges?
Yeah, like I just mentioned, I came from a family where it was just my mom, my brother, and I. Like we were not rich or whatever it is, and the most important thing we had back then, it was life. Like that was our most important assets. I would say it that way. So like there were, I don't want to say countless, but there were a lot of challenges along the way.
Okay.
There were a lot of challenges along the way. Like I did mention, like I went to some of the elite schools. I remember I was attending at this government school, and we were plenty in the class, So to even learn, there was no way. The only people who were learning in our class, it was people like us who were paying attention. And like even before I got that opportunity to went to the US or to go to the US, at that one organization, I was at that area working for 4 years. Like I was doing work there and other things. Like I remember I used to scrub the floor. Like those are just some of the challenges I'm trying to record. I used to scrub the floor. When I scrub the floor be clean. I'm cooking in the kitchen at the same time. And I was, I think, 15, 16. So I was small. All my life I just been straight up. So I used to cook and wash the dishes, clean up. I used to do all the work and all of that. And like even after coming back from the States, I still put myself in that position to pretty much lead, to serve and all of that. And to full hunger, speaking about full hunger, we have had quite a few challenges. Like in Liberia, we don't really get a lot of resources like from our community, like a lot of financial support. I would say it that way. And it's not something that is in hiding or whatever. That's something that is very known. So when we started full hunger, raising funds were pretty much of a challenge. It was such a challenge, like a real crazy challenge. And like how we actually overcome it was through the US channel, like setting up a US bank account, creating a website, and having a US base where we can raise funds. That way people in America and Europe and other places around the world. But working in the community, talking about challenge, I will not move on here. Working in the community, we go to the community to do good for the people.
Yeah.
But the good we go do again, it will not easy. Wow. I remember there were these people fighting me. What? Because of the water pumps were installing. Like I would build a water pump, I'd be like, hey man, do not take any money from the people. You're just a caretaker. Just maintain the pump. Whenever a power breaks, call me. I'm responsible for repair. I remember there were some people selling the water, and I'm like, hey, why are you selling the water? Why are you treating the people like that? And they want to fist me, Yeah, it was like a lot of challenges, but like it's only strong people who last through these challenges and willingness to tell stories with humor, like we're discussing right now.
So you talked about your outbreaking. You talked about Bannersville, or you being a kid living in Bannersville. So what really motivated you to go in community like West Point to do the installation of 28 hand pumps or clean water in West Point?
Yeah, so I actually used to live like Front Street, and that area, like Broad Front, around that area, I would say the whole Water Sasa. I used to live in our cluster area, and it's not far from West Point. So there were days on a Sunday we would go in West Point, we play football and all of that. So when I started the organization, like we're doing the water, but we're actually doing food as well. It's like water and food. We're partnering with two orphanages.
Okay.
So we're just going to the orphanages, giving the kids food. But when we decided to shift focus to water, I was actually thinking of a community that's most needed. I know that in our library setting, we're all in need.
Mm-hmm.
So when I thought about West Point, the things I used to see, how the people used to live, how the people used to struggle for water, all of that, I'm like, I have to go back to that community. But before going back, I heard a lot of rumors. They were like, when the community has changed, when you go there, they will steal your wash. They will, they will take your shoes off your foot, all those funny stories. But when I went there, I saw that the people, they were very welcoming, they were very nice. They have people like anybody in any place. Once you're not bothering them, you're totally unbothered. So I went there and I saw that they actually needed water. So that's what motivated me to give West Point clean water.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the response like from them since you have done this so far?
Yeah, the community has been very grateful. We started working there effectively September of 2022, and we ended July this year. I would say, and like all throughout the 2 years and 2 years and a half, I worked in the community. The people, they were always welcoming. They were, always grateful. Like they expressed a lot of gratitude at the turning over ceremony, those water pumps turning over ceremony, and even up to now, the community still support me. I remember recently I was nominated for Momo Hero of Change, and like the guys in West Point, they love it. All in the community, everybody trying to vote for me. And
wow!
It shows how much gratitude that they want to. It shows how much they do care about me because of what I've done for them. So they have always been grateful. Always been grateful.
That's good. So you be an individual and taking such a great initiative within Liberia. What's your plan? Well, like maybe probably within 2 to 3 years time, what's your plan and how do you want to see Liberia?
Well, in the next 2 to 3 years, most definitely gonna be with full hunger.
Okay.
Like I'm thinking about going back to school. I graduated high school. I went to a school more like a tech college. It's called East, right on Benson Street, and I did a diploma program. But I still want to go back to school and advance myself.
Okay.
So like in the next 2 to 3 years span, I'm gonna be working with full hunger, doing more practice around Liberia. We want to go Nigeria too.
Okay.
We're gonna go other countries around West Africa, and I'm gonna be doing school. So it's full hunger, school, and developing myself, self development.
So one would say you are not feeling with Liberia, you want to extend.
Yeah, it's actually a lot to do, but like we can only do our best.
Okay.
And like we have worked in other places outside Montserrat. We want to go all the way southeastern, like Maryland, all those other places, but we can only do our best. And like the guys in Nigeria, one of the reasons we want to go there, I have a very young friend, very young. He just my age. In the US, he started an organization in Makoko. It's a slum in Nigeria where the people live in all the water.
Wow.
They go up building schools.
Yeah,
the people eat over the water. They play everything. They do it over the water. He went there. He was traveling around the world. He's called Cameroon. He went there. He's like, wow, these people are very happy. Look at the situation they're in. So it very warmed his heart. He started an organization called Humanity Effect. He's building school. He has built 2 schools already for the kids there.
Wow.
He's building whole clinic for the kids. And all the teachers are on salary, like they're getting well paid. He came to Liberia. He partnered with Full Hunger. So like when I'm looking at his work he's doing in Nigeria, it really motivated me and we want to do something with him like 2026. So that's part of the reason for which we're going there. But it's not like we're turning back on Liberia. There's a lot to do in Liberia.
So let's chip in back to your trip to the US.
Yeah.
You said that you went to the US at a very young age, and you were, how many years like you spent there?
It was just a year, so it was this international program where I went to represent orphan and enriched children for a year, and like in that time we did 38 states, like traveling 38 US states plus Washington DC. We started in Washington State, like West drove to Idaho, North South Dakota, East did all of New England and drove back. So it was just a year.
Okay. So it was there that you started a Full Hunger organization, or when you came back?
When I came back to Liberia. So when I was there, I was mostly like an ambassador for orphan and enriched children, like raising awareness for kids in Liberia to get access to school. Kids in Peru, it's a country in South America, like Uganda, India, Nepal, and countries around the world. Like a lot of countries around the world.
Okay. So like of recent, I saw your on Facebook. I saw your organization is a tourist organization. Let's talk about that. How it came about too.
Yeah, so it's like how that actually started. It was 2019. Back that time, I was just in Labrador for a couple years. I would say maybe 1 or 2 years. I was home, and I stayed with this one family in York, Pennsylvania. They are called Dan and Lori Powers, and I was in their home. Like they sponsored me into school and all of that. So they were like my parents. I would say it that way. So we were communicating, and these influencers like travel or bloggers, some of them have like 1 million Instagram followers, like 3 million YouTube subscribers. They were coming to Africa, West Africa, and they were like, "Who in West Africa do you guys want us to meet?" So back then, my family they just had me tag on like that post. Hey, Wendy, so I direct messaged one of the guys, and they were like, "Perfect." So I did meet the guy. He's called Drew Bensky. Okay. And when Drew Bensky came to Liberia, he was like, "Dude, I saw a story on Liberia at that time, 2019. Okay. The most like popular or the most viewed story about Liberia on YouTube. It was from a documentary called Vast Documentary, where the people were talking about cannibalism. People were shooting. So he said, "Man, when I was coming Liberia, I thought somebody was coming to eat me." But I came Morovia successfully, and I see the people are very welcoming. I see school buses. Only in America you can see school buses. I seen it in Liberia. Your flag, looking at the American flag, you're speaking a very good English. I feel like home. He said, by far, this is the most Americanized West African nation I've been to. So when I met that guy through his audience, I met my brother who he and I started For Hunger 2020. Okay. And like right after that, all of the other people in the travel community, because he has like 1 million followers, like just on Instagram and almost 5 million on YouTube. Wow. So right after that, everybody started coming through me, like all of those tourists, and some with big audience and some with like a little audience, but very good. And when these guys come, they want to see Liberia, but most importantly, they want to see me and they want to see the work I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So like we just mix a little bit of tourism with it. When kind of see Monrovia, we'll go West Point, we'll meet the people. Some of them donated to us, and yeah, that has been it. It's just been a little bit of mix in tourism, but as of recent, I started a tourist agency, like a tour agency, okay. And that's another story for another day. Yeah.
So that's good. So at this young age, how do you mitigate the fame in your personal life?
Yeah, like it's such an interesting question. I'm just trying to find the real words to put together. When we say fame, that is something that I've always tried to not enter my head. Like I said, I came from a very humble, as the words spell humble out. That's how I came from. That's where I came from. So like I did mention, even when I came back from the States, people like, "Oh, when there is, I still used to be watching the floor." I remember my brother, I watched the host floor, like the office, the organization office floor. And like everybody was afraid to enter. The people kept standing to the door. Like the project come to the States and watch the floor. Not going. I'm like, no, you don't want to be afraid. You're coming. And that has just been the person I've been all my life. Mm-hmm. I'm one person that I'm very accessible. Whenever you reach out to me, I want to hear what you want to say. I want to know who you are. I want to call you brother. I want to call you my man. I want to make sure that you're comfortable. And there are a lot of people in my space who know me like brother can attest to that. I work with a young videographer like in West Point. He was like, "Man, among all the people in the country, all the people I've worked with, I've never seen anybody like you. I go to the community, I will shake everybody hand because like no man is an island." Definitely. And like fame, it shouldn't be anything that would damage your humanity. Like you always want to be humble, and that has been my philosophy all throughout. So like I've always been humble. That's one way I've managed like people knowing me and me being my real self.
Okay. So all through this journey, what has been your biggest inspiration?
Yeah, my biggest inspiration, I would say one, it comes from my mom. The fact that she's a very strong woman, very hardworking woman. And also I read about this guy, like someone who I've always been eager to know more about. He's called Abraham Lincoln. Like he was the 16th president of the US. Yeah. And like it was through Abraham Lincoln that the US Civil War, it started on his regime and also ended on his regime. Like I'm not gonna talk a lot about him, but just reading about his story and reading about how he brought everything back together, all of those things that he did, he's a motivation, like, and my mom, I would say.
Okay. So, folks, like this, we have in studio with us today, Mr. Wendell King, a gentleman who is doing tremendously well for Liberia, a man who is shaping Liberia future to another level, and he's discussing his path, some of those challenges, So we are here today on Tablas Television. Let's take this very short break to view some of his work that he's doing, and when we get back, we're going to continue the discussion. Thank you.
Hello guys from the peace-loving community of West Point. Today is a really exciting day. We are turning over water pump number 22. This will be 22 out of 28 water pumps we want to install in this community to literally end the water crisis here. Prior to 4 hunger water project here in this community, the block had literally no access to safe and clean drinking water. But today it has changed. When you walk through the community, 4 hunger impact is visibly seen. Thank you to all of the guys who are part of the 4 hunger community for the support, and all of those guys who have supported us from inception.
On behalf of the Township of West Point, as your commissioner for hunger, Wendell, I want to say a very big thank you to you people. Since the advent of for hunger in West Point, I think there have been some sign of relief in having access to safe drinking water.
Right now, we are left with 6 water pumps to achieve our goal in this community. And right after West Point, it's not going to be the end of it. So I'm asking you to build a water pump with us today or join the amazing Full Hunger community. Link is in bio. Thank you guys. Bye.
About Wendell, aside from being my personal friend for over 5 years now, is that he's a selfless person. He dedicates all his time to this NGO for hunger. He'll explain later in depth what they do, but essentially they work for the township of West Point, which will we be visiting later. It's going to be an incredible opportunity to have this kind of access in West Point. By far the most interesting place to visit in Liberia. He's really well connected because he does a lot of social work there. They build wells for the local people. Clean water is the most essential thing they need, as many of you will imagine. We'll see all that later.
I had an opportunity to travel to the U.S. when I was about 17, 18 years. I went there as an ambassador for orphan and enriched children, representing children from all around the world. And I did that traveling 38 U.S. states plus DC, African. And when I came back to Liberia, like my previous thought was when I was going to go to the U.S. and do what I was going to go do, I was just going to change lives forever. You know, like all of the children around the world, they were all going to be good. But unfortunately, when I came back to Liberia, I saw that kids were still being used in the streets of Monroeville. They were still being used as breadwinners, you know, selling in the street without education. That really blows my mind, and I decided to start an initiative to provide food and clean drinking water, which is for hunger. I'm going to talk about this when we're in the township.
In the heart of West Point, Liberia's largest slum community, a young Liberian named Wendell S. King stood as a beacon of hope amidst the struggle of poverty and limited access to clean water. With a determined spirit and a heart full of compassion, Wendell embarked on a journey to bring lasting change to his community. Through the NGO For Hunger, Wendell envisioned the installation of 28 water pumps strategically placed throughout West Point. Knowing that access to clean water was a fundamental human right, he set out to make it a reality for every resident in West Point. Despite facing numerous challenges along the way, from logistical hurdles to financial constraints, Wendell remained unwavering in his commitment. He mobilized a team of dedicated volunteers from within the community, empowering them to become agents of change in their own neighborhoods. Together, they worked tirelessly, digging trenches, laying pipes, and installing pumps in key locations across West Point. Each pump represents a lifeline for the residents, offering a source of clean, safe water in the midst of adversity.
We are here with Wendell. He's discussing a lot about his organization, his personal life, and other activities he have carried on so far. So welcome back. This is Tablas Television. So Wendell, welcome again.
Thank you, bro.
So we're discussing other things. So what impact, what right? What impact do you want to see your organization lay on Liberia within 10 years period?
In the next 10 years, like this is the apparent start of things. Now we're doing hand pumps. But in the next 10 years, I'm looking forward to full hunger effectively collaborating with the Liberia Water and Cereal Corporation, making sure that people in Liberia, specifically in Montserrat, Magibi, Grand Baxter, Bon, Nimba, those 5 counties, including Bomi, those 6 counties, have accessible, safe, clean drinking water in their homes, like through pipe bomb and all of that.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking forward to. It's gonna be a lot, like it's gonna cost a lot, but that is my anticipation. But for now, this is just the apparent start, like I said, hand pumps.
Okay. So this is a controversial question. So recently we saw you with the Speaker of Liberia at his office.
Yeah.
We saw you with him. So like it may be resounding in other Liberians' mouth that
Right.
the visit to the Speaker, when they visit to the Speaker is a sign of distraction, maybe politics or something. How do you turn that to be?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like I've been asked a lot of times. I've even had questions coming like, "Hey man, all these things you're doing, our representative who in the district, who was in the district, they didn't do half of it. They didn't make no impact, and you somebody doing all these things. Please tell us, do you want any political position?" And my answer for the time being has been, no. I'm just doing it because I've been there. And what you're talking about, it was a formal meeting with the office of the speaker, because like I had my co-founder visit in Liberia July when we did the last hand pump, like pump 28 turning over in West Point. He was here. I had some of our longest standing supporters and people like that. So we were working on a meeting to pay a courtesy visit to the president, and we had one with the speaker. So it was more like a meeting because he's somebody I've known. So we had that one meeting with him, and that very day we have another meeting with the vice president.
Okay.
And we're non-political, but those people are our leaders. Like in regards of who you are, like what are your affiliation, what are your UPS, what are your this, your that, whatever political affiliation you're from. Those people are our leaders, and whatever decision they will make, it has effect on us for the next 5 to 6 years, and it's only good for NGOs to pretty much collaborate with national government. Even CDC, I have friends there too, like the then CEO of the Liberia National Water Sanitation and Hygiene Commission, Ambassador Bobby Wave. He was my good friend, and he was one very close to Thomas Fala and Makio and George Weir, all those people. So we've always been collaborating with national government. Like for instance, what we're doing in West Point, we have been working with our commissioner office, because we can't just do things in the country like that. Even in the states there, we had to get people from the Secretary of State, that big politician, Secretary of State from Texas. We had to get people from the IRS, and the IRS is run by the government and all of that, So we have been collaborating with all of the governments that have been coming in between, like the time being, but we are non-political, and it was a courtesy visit to the Speaker and the Vice President office.
Okay, that's good. So, I've asked this question many times to different guests within the studio. What do you have to tell the diaspora Liberians who are kind of maybe afraid or have maybe the same passion or vision that you have, and then they are sitting and saying that Liberia is not safe to invest, Liberia is not safe to develop? What do you have to tell them?
Well, whatever way they are thinking, whatever negative way they are thinking, I'm going to firstly say that it is very fair for them to think that way. It is their right. Like, I totally understand. Because in the past 10 to 12 years, I saw that Liberia was literally post-war country, like a fresh post-war country. So there were a lot of things that were happening, like armed robbery was on the increase. They were breaking people's homes, like criminal activities were on the increase in Monroeville. But for now, those things have been minimized, and I'm going to say that Liberia is pretty safe. Whoever that's watching this in the diaspora that want to come down and start an organization that want to invest in Liberia, this is what I have to say to you. You don't have to have $100,000 to start. You don't have to be afraid to start. Like, bro, it's very safe. Like me, individually, I started with nothing. It was just my $5, $10. I would go buy books for the orphanages and give to them. Like, I remember a story. We went to one of the orphanages and I think it was early 2019. We took books, we took rice. I spoke to the kids. I'm there motivating the kids. You don't have to look at where you're from. You'll be this, you'll be a lawyer, you'll be good in the future, all of that. At the end of the day, I didn't even have transportation to come. We had to teach you all wisdom books. Like, we had to walk from the orphanage back to our various houses. But like, it's just to motivate you guys. Like I said, whatever you have, you should come back and invest in. Liberia is very, very safe. Liberia is getting developed. If you haven't been to Liberia, in 10 years, you're living in Europe, you're living in America, I'm going to say this very clear. You're missing out. You're missing out. The Liberia that you knew 2010, 2012 is not a Liberia it's not a Liberia we're living in right now. Liberians are developing. Liberians are thriving. Liberians are doing exceptional. There are some young Liberians who they didn't even have contact with the Western world. They stay right in Liberia. They build up. They are entrepreneurs. Some of them, they are politicians. Some of them, like, they are engineers. So wherever you are, wherever in the world that you're watching this video from, do not be afraid. Come back. And one thing I want to sink in you is nowhere like home. So hold that, know that, and know that Liberia is very, very safe. So come back and invest.
Okay. So we go back to this West Point issue. Once at one point in time, around probably maybe 2015 or 16, we had a young man in West Point by the name of Mohammed Keita, who, through the grace of God, in some project that he did in probably the Children's Parliament, he was able to win the one Nobel Peace Prize, and then he went America. He lived in America. So one would want to say, why is it Mohammed is not doing this, but someone who is not from West Point doing this? How will you think that to be true?
Wow, I actually like your question. It's very logical. I've been asked that a lot. Like, what do you think about Abraham Keita? What do you think about Keita? What do you think about Abraham? Abraham is someone I've known for a long time. We haven't really been close. We haven't really spoken. You'll not believe it.
Wow.
But like, I've known some of your brothers who are in the community, and they are good friends. And like, I could have done any other thing with my life. Like, I could have gone to school. I could have saved my money. I could have, like, we spent $50,400 in West Point to install those 28 pumps. That's a lot, man.
A lot of money.
I'm the one speaking to the donors. I'm the one running everything, literally running everything. I could have pocketed half of that money, $20,000, $30,000 in my account. I don't care. I go to school. I spend $3,000. I start my life. I do politics. I do whatever I want to do, But like, I'm doing it for the people, and people tend to make their individual decisions. And if I tell you, I know why Abraham is not doing a lot in West Point, I'll be totally unfair. Like, I'll be a liar to you. But we're not in any competition. Like, he has made his decision to live in the U.S. I guess he's attending UConn, a university in Connecticut. So he's going to school. He's working and all of that in the U.S. And that is a good thing for him. Like, I saw that he was in Liberia. Like, he was in the community West Point. I guess it was last year or early this year. I don't know. But again, people tend to make their own decision. People tend to do what's right for them. So maybe that is the right path for him. That is the right path for him. But I believe that the rightful path for me, like I said, I want to go to school and all of that. The rightful path for me is to keep bettering lives in Liberia, is to keep shining my light, is to keep inspiring and keep being a change, like making people to understand that good things can come from Liberia. Good things that are in Liberia can come from Liberia. It's the sense I'm trying to make.
Okay. So we keep dropping the discussion, and you kept talking about Liberia. So this question, when you happens to get the opportunity to say, or you happens to get the opportunity to go to school in America and then maybe do your masters and everything there, will you stay continue what you're doing? Like, when you go, maybe when you take the opportunity to go there, will you continue what you're doing back here?
Most definitely. I would just say the love of liberty brought us here, and there's nowhere like home. All my life, I want to make sure, because I've been places, not to brag, I've been places. I went to some of these places, I went to the toilet, I pee, and I waved my hand, it flushed. I went to some of these places. I just stood up on a stair, like an escalator. It took me up. I went to some of these places. I stood up in an elevator. I had a problem. I had an issue. I got stuck in. I just hit a button and I spoke to first responder right away, and everything was resolved. And I've seen all these different technologies, like how the world is advanced. I went to some of these places. You can even drop your bread on the ground. You pick it up. One sin will not be on it. So I know how the world looking. And I came back Liberia. I saw that we're still in debt. I saw that we're still in debt. We're still struggling. Technology is not advanced and things are not really working effectively for Liberia. It broke my heart. Wow. There were days I used to sit down, I cry. And I'm like, I can cry all the tears out from in my body, but the only way that things will be able to be the way I want to see it is for myself to get out there. It's for myself to be in the field. It's for myself to make sure all these things happen. So like, it's more of an individual saying, I'm the man in the mirror. So like, no matter where I go, my only plan, like my head is in Liberia. Wow. Whatever I see in the US, I want to make sure it's in Liberia. For instance, when I came back, you know how people can drink water, no dirt being along the road, you drop the plastic bag on the ground. When I drink the water on the street, I would take the plastic bag, I put it in my pocket. I said, no matter what, I'm not dropping it on the ground. People say drop it on the ground. When I go home, my brother, my pocket wet, my whole chest of so water. Like I say, I sweating from yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
All in your pocket.
All in my pocket. So no matter what, like I want to go back to the States, I want to go to school, I want to study, I want to do all of that. But when I study all that knowledge that I will learn, everything, all that I have is for Liberia, to make sure that I make an impact, continue to make impact in Liberia, continue to better Liberia, because Liberia is my home.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
Thank you.
And so one would want to say, why say that when they win America, when they had the opportunity, probably like what the Liberians do, to run away or to stay there. Why is it we never did that?
Yeah, funny enough, you're asking a question. I'm just trying to, retrospect. Funny enough, I had a friend, like an elderly man, I used to call him uncle. And like the one guy would just call me, dude, don't come here, run away, my big. Yeah. That used to be the man of us. My man, don't come by here. Anytime that man call me, I just used to be like, yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. Like all of the things I've been doing, I just God help me from the time I was small, my brother. Like one thing I've always learned to do is to be honest. I know nobody's perfect. But when I say this, that's what people know me for in the country. When I say my word, if I make a promise, if I'm committed to something, I'm committed to it. When I was going to go through the organization had a lot of people from the Capitol, like the U.S. Capitol, writing for us. Senator John Thune from South Dakota. He's the current Republican leader in the Senate, like the Republican head in the U.S. Senate. Okay. The man said wrote for us, like for us to go to the states, to the Homeland Security, and Senator Patty Murray from Washington State. So when we went to Washington, D.C., I met all those people. Those people, like, they are people who supporting us. They believe in us. They know that when they come, because they are running Homeland Security and the U.S. Embassy in Liberia, when they go 1 year, when they will come back, like, bro, the fact that those people are believing in you. Yeah, I'm not able to do it. You give me money, say full of us. I refuse it. I'm like, hell no, I'm not going to do it. Like, so like, you're right. There are other Liberians who, like I saw recently, a girl went to the US through our program and she escaped. And these things happen, but like, people like us, we want to be very honest. We want to be, very straight to our words and do the right thing always,
That's good. Because all her brain by now, his story is different.
Of course.
So that's good. That's good. So like, speaking about all these things, what advice do you have to tell a Liberian based in home here that I will not say taking their life to be nothing, but don't believe in themselves? What advice will you have to give them? Someone who don't believe in themselves, who has this passion but is not putting it to perfection, what advice will you have to give them?
Yeah, for whoever that's watching this and you're doubting yourself, I'll say that the first step, the number one step to failure is for you to believe that you can't. That's the first step to failure. So the fact that you have that mindset already, you're literally at the edge of failing. Whatever a man think is what he will say. Whatever a man says is what he will do. So if you look at yourself and be like, I don't have money, so I cannot go to school, it means that you're not going to go to school. I'm not from a good family, so I cannot become anybody. It means you're not going to become anybody. When I go to those orphanages that we're partnering with, I see the kids in those orphanages. Most of them, they are very sad because they don't have parents. Most of them, they have never even seen a relative, like extended family yet. So they know nothing about love. I'm just trying to say that the only love they get is from the orphanage. So they are always sad. But whenever I go there, I tell them that no matter where you are from, you can grow up to be a lawyer. You can grow up to be a doctor. You can grow up to be an engineer. Always believe in yourself. And even void of politics. I remember saying an example on George Weah. You see, George Weah, he came from a very poor background. George Weah didn't come from how we can say silver spoon. Family were not rich.
Yeah.
He played football. He used to play in the slum, came from the slum and all of that. The fact that George Weah came from the slum and become a president of Liberia, there is no limit to who you can be, to what you can do. So always believe in yourself. And even like the Abraham Lincoln guy, he went to a Ballard school, like a Biani Hall school, something like that, and he become very great. Yeah. So if all those people those great people that we see and know about today, if they can be great as they are right now, it means that it can happen. So even if you're watching this, you don't have food to eat now, I want you to believe that you're great. I want you to believe that you will do great things. I want you to always keep believing in yourself. Like, I want you to keep trusting the process. Every morning you wake up, you say positive things to yourself. Yeah. And you also work towards it. And most importantly, any opportunity you get in life, capitalize on it and make sure you make the very best use of it. So keep believing in yourself. It's not about your current situation. It's about where you will get. So keep trusting.
Okay. So that's far. What has been the greatest lesson you have learned so far in this process?
The greatest lesson that I've learned so far is humility is the key to success. Okay. No matter what you do in life, always be humble. No matter like where you are, always be humble. Always care for people. Always count others. And that has been the greatest lesson, one of the best philosophy that I've actually lived my life on. And that's something that has been helping me. Always be humble. Like, learn to count others significantly than yourself. I know it's another thing to say and another thing to do, but once that is being practiced by you, you see your life will actually flourish, will grow, will shine.
Okay. So does the organization have or has anything in the pipeline that people don't know about that you want to say? Maybe you got something coming up?
Yeah. Thank you for asking. So like, we are just young men who are running the organization, and we have been trying different ideas, most especially to get attention. Because like, we're believing to get to a point where we'll be raising, I don't know, $1 million, $2, $3, $4, $5 million. And like, maybe all the money, like I would say 90% of the money or 95% of the money can go towards like the organization cost, and the remaining 5 can come to overhead. Because like, I want to do this all my life, and once I'm getting just enough to help my family, my brother, co-founder is getting just enough people around, all they are satisfied and we're able to do these things. That's what we want to do. So like, we were doing water effectively. We're doing food too with the kids, but all of our focus has been on water. And like, just recently we agreed to shift our focus to food. So that is, we're going to be working more with the kids at the orphanages. We're going to add some orphanages in, and we are thinking about going back West Point. So that's something in the pipeline. And if you're hearing this, you're hearing it for the first time. That's something we haven't announced yet. So that should be up like in a week or two from now.
So like, how many orphanages are you working with?
We work with 2 orphanages right now. Okay. There's one in Duboro called Children Relief Ministry, Zion Press, and there's one in New Georgia, Female Island, called Liberian Children Rescue and Educational Foundation Orphanage. Like, we want to go to West Point. There's this one school, I should talk about that. So I have some friends in the US, and I was working in the community. I met this one community leader. He's like, Wendell, I want to start a school. But like, where I want to start a school is a drug hotspot. And most of these kids, their parents are drug addicts. Like, they haven't been to school all their life, and they have never even seen classroom. So it's going to be a huge difference. And when I heard that, it really moved me because I understand the importance of education. So I spoke to some of my friends in the States. We got together. We started a fundraiser. We raised some money. And right now we have the free school running in West Point. So the initial plan was to have 150 kids there. But there are some of the parents that will come to the guy who taking care of the school and be like, my son can't see my house. You see how the whole roof falling apart. Then my child, I own a child. Please help me. I got no other thing to do for the child. So we have 160 kids there. The kids, they have fan in their classes, marker bowl. They are well unified. So we're thinking about taking the feeding program to those kids. Like, we'll provide lunch for them all throughout school days. And yeah, that's something for Hunger will do.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's very beautiful. So, if you are watching the program, again to remind you, we are in conversation with Wendell. He's the co-founder of Full Hunger in Liberia, an organization shifting Liberia future to another level. An organization that has the mindset, the dream to erase hunger, I'll say, from within Liberia. So, Wendell, what's the support like from our own Liberian-based audience? How's the support like?
Yeah, I understand. Like, bro, we want to make just enough for ourselves, and that is very tolerant. Like, that is very considerate, I would say. But how we get funding is through this group of people called the Full Hunger Community. So, like, the Full Hunger Community are people who like sign up with us to give back monthly with the cost. For instance, Roosevelt wants to give $10. The $10 come in every month. So we have the group of people. We also have some people who donate like at once, like the one-time option, and most of those people are from the US and Europe and other places around the world. Like the very first time we had an individual in Liberia to donate to the organization, it was through a friend from the US who was then working with Peace Crops. She was in Liberia. She's called Emma. So she donated $100. But like sad enough, we haven't really had any support from Liberia. We really haven't had any recognition. Like I had a friend in Cape Mount. We went at his school. He donated $200, and that was very thoughtful of him. But other than that, we haven't had any support. Like just recently, the very first recognition that we even had said it was from the Momo Euro of Change, where we were nominated, for that program. But the support from Liberians, it has just been like not really seen, and that is something I don't have a problem with because I understand how our people are, and most importantly, we're not doing it for recognition, and I'm not doing it because I want to exploit people or want to, get a lot from Liberians. Like I'm doing it because I want to give back to Liberians, so that is considerate.
Okay. So in giving back to Liberians, is people ready? Are people ready accepting this to be like because we got this mentality as
Right.
a brain. Some people be like, this guy is only one to be show off.
Yeah.
Are people very appreciative because we are looking at
Yeah.
something that when somebody is doing something, when you are getting people feedback in a very good manner, it
Right.
make you more motivated
Much better
to do it. Are you getting that kind of good feedback from people like to motivate you? Like because at times when people give you some thoughts within the field, you go home and be like, oh, I want to give up and other stuff. Are you getting that good feedback from people?
Yeah, I have been getting it. Like even with the organization, my brother, if let God bless you, can solve people's problems, then all my problems have been solved. Then let God bless you, my son. We're going to pull out the room today. We're not even going to hear space. Yeah. I've received just enough. Let God bless you, my son. So that is a kind out of gratitude, and like even outside there, like outside Full Hunger. There are some of the things that I do that I would not even see the internet. Like people call me from all around the country. I'm like, yeah, man, this is it. And they have always been like very grateful. So like, it's not about showing off. I'll say it that way. It's not about getting anything from them back in return. It's just about because myself, I was there, so I understand what it means for someone to be in that position.
Yeah.
Right.
So in all this, have you any point in time reach in your life to be like, I'm doing this, but I want to give up? Have you experienced that?
Yeah, we are all humans.
Okay.
There are some times in our life that we'll pray for this bottle of water to get before us, but once the bottle of water is here, we're like, hey, I really hope the tap can open up.
Yeah,
That's human nature, and it's okay to be that. Of course, yeah, there are times that I've been like, oh wow, I'm doing too much. Like I'm not taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
In a year, I'm giving thousands of dollars. Oh, like what am I even doing to myself? I'm killing myself. I'm like I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna die. Like there are some of these people that when you try helping, they want to exploit you.
Yeah.
Like there are some of them will be like, hey man, can you help me send my child to school? And you're doing that, you're paying the school fee. The child is not in school today. What, the child is not in school? I just paid school fee. They be like, the child doesn't have uniform. They put the child outside of a $5 uniform. I'm like, what? You just said school fee. And when you buy the uniform, hey, the child is not in school today for sure. I'm like, no. Like this is not. So like some of these things when they happen, I'm like, no, I need to slow down. I need to focus on myself. But like, I can only get what I can get, and I always want to give back. That's one thing that's part of me. So yeah, I'm happy for everything.
Okay, that's That's good. So before we leave you, because we gotta call you a day, before we leave you, do you want to say anything that you have not said so far?
Well, I think I've actually touched a lot. I've actually said a lot, and I just want it to be the way it is. I don't know what.
Okay, so then can you give your parting statement and I call you a day?
Yeah, like whoever that's watching this, I want you to, believe in yourself. Like I'm a young man. I came from a very humble beginning, like I mentioned, and I'm where I am today, and I'm doing all these things for the community. And it shows that you yourself, you can be that, and you can do more than that. So wherever you are watching this, keep believing in yourself. Keep doing what you can do. Whether you are good at content creation, whether you're good at videographing, whether you're good at photography, like taking pictures and all of that, whatever thing you are good at, whether at trade, keep doing that, and keep shining your light.
Okay. So thank you very much for sharing your story with us. Thank you very much for appearing. We appreciate you a lot.
Thank you.
And this is how we love to come to the end of today's segment of the program Culture and You. I remain your presenter, Receiver Joshua Yanti. Thank you. Bye bye.
In the heart of West Point, Liberia's largest slum community, a young Liberian named Wendell S. King stood as a beacon of hope amidst the struggle of poverty and limited access to clean water. With a determined spirit and a heart full of compassion, Wendell embarked on a journey to bring lasting change to his community. Through the NGO For Hunger, Wendell envisioned the installation of 28 water pumps strategically placed throughout West Point. Knowing that access to clean water was a fundamental human right, he set out to make it a reality for every resident in West Point. Despite facing numerous challenges along the way, from logistical hurdles to financial constraints, Wendell remained unwavering in his commitment. He mobilized a team of dedicated volunteers from within the community, empowering them to become agents of change in their own neighborhoods. Together, they worked tirelessly, digging trenches, laying pipes, and installing pumps in key locations across West Point. Each pump represents a lifeline for the residents, offering a source of clean, safe water in the midst of adversity.
Hello guys from the peace-loving community of West Point. Today is a really exciting day. We are turning over water pump number 22. This will be 22 out of 28 water pumps we want to install in this community to literally end the water crisis here. Prior to For Hunger water project here in this community, the block had literally no access to safe and clean drinking water. But today it has changed. When you walk through the community, For Hunger impact is visibly seen. Thank you to all of the guys who are part of the For Hunger community for the support, and all of those guys who have supported us from inception.
On behalf of the Township of West Point, as your commissioner For Hunger, Wendell, I want to say a very big thank you to you people. Since the advent of For Hunger in West Point, I think there have been some sign of relief in having access to safe drinking water.
Right now, we are left with 6 water pumps to achieve our goal in this community. And right after West Point, it's not going to be the end of it. So I'm asking you to build a water pump with us today or join the amazing For Hunger community. Link is in bio. Thank you guys. Bye.